And good afternoon, dear ones. Rev Robert with you over here.
Rev Z right here.
This is New Thought Today, a weekly opportunity where we get to hang out for a whole hour here and look at some of what's happening in the world and how New Thought Today can influence that, and how New Thought can influence the future of humanity and society. So thank you very much for being with us. We love you. We're so happy you're here. Please do us a favor. Hit those like buttons, hit those share buttons, hit whatever buttons might be in front of you, as long as it's not the button that says leave or anything, nothing with an F. Because we hope that you'll stick with us and share with your friends and let them know what we're doing here on the New Thought Media Network. Today is Tuesday, the 28th of December. So we're here to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And it's the third day of Kwanzaa, I believe. Correct, Z?
Yes, it is. You are absolutely correct. And it is the day of Ujima, which means collective work and ability, which talks about building a community that we maintain and support and solve problems within that community as they arise.
Yes, good.
So I think that's good advice.
I think it is. We seem to be having a little bit of those audio choppiness, a little audio choppy with your audio there today, Z. We're going to be in a place of trust and knowing that cleans itself up. And
yes.
And whatever it is,
you try to work on
it. Exactly. So prayers up on that. So, all right. And so, folks, what we wanted to do today is, as it is sort of this in-between week for everybody, right? How many people are out of work this week, or not working this week by choice, or just enjoying the family? I have a personal balance going on of work and leisure and enjoying my family and being around and getting to be with you and doing these types of things. So whenever you might be checking this out, again, we thank you for being with us. It is sort of that gap or in between week. And as spiritual teachers, I know both Z and myself, we always recommend spend some time this week in the spiritual contemplation, in your spiritual practices. And this is always I think it's always the most reliable question I've ever heard, Z. And it always comes back to the question, how is, and how you doing with your spiritual practice?
Yeah. And there's so many things, and I'm hoping and trusting my volume is better now. And so it's that time, like you said, that we begin to look at all kinds of things in this era of spiritual practices, meditation or prayer. People who are steeped in some of the mystical systems start looking at astrology charts or numerology charts or full cycles, all these different things. Whether one follows them or not is not the question. The question is, or the point is, during this time of year, people are beginning to contemplate what's next. What are we going to do on the next leg of this journey starting in 22? And I think that's has proliferated all across the globe. Everybody has their different traditions in African American and United States, China, and different countries and cultures have a different approach, but it's all based on the same thing. What is the vision for next year? Now, once I got that, I begin to meditate and pray on the outcome and the stability and whatever it is I need in terms of resource to make it happen.
Yeah. Yes. And I too spend a huge amount of time at this time of the year in exactly that. The practice for me, the major practice is the visioning practice. And so, folks, if you've tuned in today and you're not fully aware, we are in the day number 2 of an annual. Now, every year I do this a little bit differently, and I take a chance to look at how to do a visioning retreat of some sort, and we do it a little differently. This year, it's 3 times a day. Monday, Tuesday, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, 7 a.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. Mountain Times. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 opportunities, 12 noon, 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And these are just great, great opportunities to connect, come together, and spend some time exploring what is the vision for your own life.
Right.
And, Z, what we talk about a lot, and I know you're on board with this, is the real depth of the practice comes in the repetition.
Yes.
So this visioning isn't just something we do once and say, "Oh, we visioned on it." And I did, 6 months ago we did a visioning once on this whole thing, but it becomes part of our culture, part of how we what informs our decisions. But it's over the repetition that the real truth reveals itself, I believe, and the real depth of it.
Yeah, well, it's like that 1,000-hour thing that they talk about. If you do something 1,000 times, you become a certain level of proficiency. Well, it's the same thing when you're thinking about your life and how you're going and where you're going. You need to do it more than once because the landscape is changing, our ideas are changing as we get new information, and so it's always key to go back to that vision and maybe steep it a little better or tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, recently there's been a 2 years a campaign that talks about not wanting to make New Year's resolutions because most people make the resolution they say in the end of the month they already done broke it. But if you you know and it puts a little pressure, but when you do it in the form of a vision, because that's really what I think that idea is about. I'm trying to vision something new for myself that I didn't like in the year past, and so I want to vision something new. To make a resolution is kind of pressure. For me, it's pressure because I got to do it, and they tell you to tell somebody. Now I got more pressure. But
Right.
if I have a vision, I know a vision is something that's always cultivating or emerging or releasing it. So that gives me a little more balance, I think.
Yeah. Yes, I've never been one for resolutions. Premeditated resentments,
Yeah.
in many ways, and often premeditated resentments against ourselves. I'm going to resolve to do something I don't really want to do, and then use that as a judgment when I don't accomplish it. Uh,
Yes.
and so I'm much bigger on intentions as well, and setting an intention and following through on an intention. I want to answer a quick question. Wayne was asking, is that on Zoom or Facebook? He's referring to our visioning retreat throughout the week. That's on Zoom. It's actually a little bit different. You're used to seeing us here on Facebook Live. Because this is a more intimate spiritual practice, and it's scheduled differently and in a different way. It is on Zoom, so if anybody wants to be a part of that, just let us know. Jump on the Facebook page. There's an image that has the Zoom link there, or drop us a chat, drop us an email. We'll get you that Zoom link right away. So okay, so we've got this. So here's where we're at, right, folks? It's about catching the vision to some degree. It's about renewing our spiritual practices to some degree, whatever that may be. And
Mm-hmm.
we talk a lot about visioning here on this channel and on our network. And we do a lot of prayer work. We do a lot of meditation work here as well. That is, in my mind, there's a real important balance that happens between telling God what we want, telling the divine, telling the universe, whatever you want to call it, what we want,
Right.
being receptive to a vision and being, in many ways, to me, kind of detached into the meditation. So I'm interested, how does that balance work out for you?
Well, one thing I try to do in that, and it's definitely a balance. I try to take a inventory at the end of the year, um, and try to look at my physical self care, emotional, spiritual, social, financial, and try to get a feel for where, how close I was to the vision before. And then mainly do a check-in with myself, especially now that we've had so much going on. And then, one thing I'm going to do this year that will be new, given all of the new stuff, I want to look at what has kept me grounded, what keeps me grounded and has kept me grounded through this time, through channeling times. And so those are things and touchstones I can begin to meditate on, or vision on, to make them deeper and stronger and more persistent in my everyday life, which I think, going forward, given where we are now, there'll be some going ons that we need to deal with.
There's definitely going to be some going ons that are going to get dealt with. Okay, that brings to heart and to mind the promise the new year holds. And right, it's never magic. It's never like, oh, it's January 1st and the sun is shining a little bit brighter today and there's mysteriously extra money in my bank account. And if anything, on January 1st, there's usually less money and you're going, wait, how'd that happen? That is if you go out in the world. I don't do that anymore. Anyway.
And when you said that one of the things I do in terms of that self-care is I go and I revisit my budget, right? I look at my budget and begin to see, if I spent more than I wanted to. Is there something there I can take out and put somewhere else, the savings or whatever the case might be? But it's a real good time of the year, especially where we are, to say, hey, what's working and what's not in my financial life, as well as spiritual and relationship and everything else.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so that's the opportunity, right? We can be in both the vision of what we want and what wants to be, and reflective upon the realism of, well, this is what happened this is what I did last year. This is my behavior. This is the demonstration of what I believe. And what do I want to believe moving into the new year, moving into what comes next?
Yep. And
I love that we're called New Thought.
Yeah.
To be honest, because it fits, and not just at this time of the year, but at every moment, to be able to evaluate where the both end of evaluating where I've been and the vision of where I'm headed.
The good magic I think about New Thought is, no matter where you are, no matter what your situation is, no matter what the predicament is, you can create a new thought about it.
Yeah.
And we know that if we can do that and we can stay with that for a minute or so, it will begin to increase. And the more we have that new thought, I mean, just the other night, I was kind of upset with my son over something, and I had to, a minute there, I kept going down that track was going to be bad. But then I made a new thought. Things happen. So we can overcome them. We can make different decisions. We can make another choice. And before I knew it, I was feeling better, because prior to that, my heart was beating. I was breathing. I was like a bull. But the new thought of the situation and of myself and of my son was key to changing the rest of my whole evening.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very true. Right. And that's the in the moment blessing of this philosophy, that at every moment we recognize we are not beholden or we're at choice. We're not the victim of anything. We are always at choice, not necessarily of what's going on. We're not at choice about what your son did or didn't do, right? It's all about your choice in how to show up in that moment, how you want to respond in that moment, or like you said, do you want to be the bull? And it's not necessarily wrong to be the bull sometimes.
Right. And that's the beauty of the whole idea of life, is this cyclic thing that has a pendulum in turn swing, or it's more cyclic if you're looking at it from a holistic point, a pendulum if you're looking at it more of a point in time. But you don't want to keep going extremes. If you're on the pendulum, you want to find somewhere in the middle. And sometimes, and on occasion, you may have to go to the extremes, but that's not where you want to live. You want to live in the middle.
You want to live in the middle. Exactly. In the middle way.
Yes.
Right in the middle way.
Well, and the good thing too, I think, is the whole idea of vision in the new year is that you've had the cycle will begin again now. Now we're in winter. So we're going to hit spring, and then we're going to hit fall and summer. And so, summer and fall. And so now it gives us that moment to reflect about, what was I doing this time last year? Right? For a lot of us, for most of us, we know exactly. We were on lockdown pretty much like we are now. But, just think about, I think about my mindset now of how I felt last year when COVID was raging, and how I'm feeling this when we're in the exact same place and having made decisions thinking it was going to be different. I can respond a little differently now. I feel a little more comfortable is not the right word, but more open to what we're experiencing right now, and not allowing myself to get tied up in too many knots because someone else has made a choice different than the one that I made.
Yeah. That's a great point. I heard you say something Sunday. I believe it was on your Sunday talk this week. And it struck me the way you said it, that we're entering our third year of this virus being on the planet. And most of the world was not aware of what was going on, what was truly about to happen this time 2 years ago, 2019, but we have now completed 2 full cycles around the sun with this virus alive on the planet. And what this virus has done over the last 2 years on the planet and around the planet, it has changed every one of us.
Yeah.
And we have to start, I believe, and to me, that's a healthy perspective to recognize, okay, we're entering our third year so it didn't kill us. We're not all of us, and condolences to those that lost loved ones, but we're entering we have to look at how we enter into this next year from a new perspective, a perspective that says, number one, this virus ain't going away anytime soon. And number two, what is my part to play in public safety, public health?
And that's because I have a relative that's a senior that lives in New York. And the other day they had a medical situation where they needed to go to the hospital. And they had to sit in the emergency room, or not sit, but be taken care of in the emergency room for 2 days before they could get a room, because there were no rooms for COVID. And this is a senior, person. And so it's like, where is the consideration for us to, consider doing what the medical community has told us is healthy for this situation and that will help us get through it, and not put people who are not way up in dire straits.
Right.
You
Yes.
know, what's your vision? What's your vision?
And and if they're lying to all of us, I'll at least be alive to testify that they lied to us again. But truthfully, if they're lying to us about it all, I'd rather be alive. And again and again and again and again and again, science is proving that at this point, the safest course of action is to be vaccinated.
And this whole idea of visioning, and we need to do it in all aspects of our lives, or as many as we can that we can hold on to. But what are individuals' visions of the new year? Will Omicron go away and now Mu come in, or will Theta come in, or will Zeta come in? I mean, they're naming them all Greek letters. So, well, this time next year we're not dealing with Omicron, but something else if we don't take responsibility and do whatever. So, all that to say, not to jump on a COVID thing, but in terms of a vision of how we play a part not only in our own lives, but the greater life of everything on this planet. How are we going to vision ourselves fitting into that model, fitting into that process to make it better?
Yeah. That's the key. To me, that's the key. If you're doing the work to share a perspective, a vision, an idea that's moving everything forward, that's moving us towards better health, more wealth, a better sense of well-being, better mental health education, or any of the conversations that we have, that's what I believe New Thought gives us, and really can give the world, is that perspective that there is always a solution, there's always a way through. The truth is going to win out. The good in the world will always win out. And if I'm not serving that vision to some degree, to any degree, if all I'm doing is espousing how bad it is, or picking holes in things, or wanting to tear down this or that or the other thing, that's doing none of it any good.
No.
Not moving us in the direction.
And and when you think about vision, I don't know what you said to make me think about this, but just the other day, 2 days ago, they from Guyana, South America, they set off. I think it was Guyana. They launched the new telescope that take 29 days to get in place and get in orbit. That is going to be 10 times, I think, maybe even 100 times more powerful than the Hubble telescope. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that background we have now is one of the pictures that the Hubble took, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And so now we're going to have the power in terms of vision to see, they saying all the way back to, like, relatively speaking, moments after the Big Bang. The solar mirrors, they say, are big as a tennis court.
Yes.
So
space telescopes. It is amazing. Yeah, it is amazing what, as a human species, we've been able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, what you're sharing is really a demonstration, not just of science, but of science and the belief in the things that cannot be seen. Because it takes a belief, a very, very strong belief, to believe that we can see all the way back to the Big Bang.
Yeah. Takes a big vision to imagine that, and then go make it happen.
Right. Right. And what I know is, or at least my experience of being in the vision, living in a vision, using the visioning process to capture or to qualify or quantify that vision, is it never all comes at once. It always reveals itself piece by piece and bit by bit. And I'm going to do a really bad segue here into the fact that my family and I went to see the new Spider-Man movie the other day. Now, no spoilers, I won't, because it's really that good. But my point is, I'm not like the biggest Spider-Man guy. I don't know everything that's canon about Spider-Man, and I don't know everything that could happen or should happen in a Spider-Man story because of how Spider-Man fits in the overall universe, multiverse, if you will, of everything. But I had a blast of a time, had a great time entering into a story, and part of that story has been and what I now know is it is very true to canon, and my kids tell me it's incredibly aligned. And the way it's done is you couldn't have told this story from the very beginning. We had to go through all the other chapters. We had to go through all the other pieces for everything to align for this to even be possible. And I'm pretty sure that's what's happening in the world today. It's taken a long time of a lot of synchronicities and a lot of chapters being written for humanity to be at a place where I think we can even have the conversations we're having, where people are even considering that there could be something good coming out of all this.
And you brought up a good point for me in terms of my visioning for the new year is um, to read more fiction or science fiction, or historical novel, something that allows me to step into a visionary perspective and see how things unfold. Because, like you said, looking at this new Spider-Man, which I didn't see yet, I intend to see it. It creates that kind of retrospect and vision forward of what's possible. I did go see the Kingsman movie, which was like a prequel, which was a great thing for visioning because if you're the first two movies, you see what they do, but if you don't know the story, you don't know how they got there. And so now you can go see the prequel and see what vision was cast as a result of what happened in the very beginning and how far it went after that vision was cast and started buying into it.
Here we are looking back to the Big Bang again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Right?
And you think about vision, right? You just the other day they found I think they said like 150,000-year-old dinosaur egg with the embryo fully intact in the egg. Now you think about the vision that the creative force of the universe had to go back to where we are now.
Yeah.
So vision is key in all of life, seen and unseen.
Seen and unseen. Right. Because we can't even begin to imagine what vision the mind of a dinosaur had. And yet we know it must have been there. Just as we know now that there is consciousness within our pets. And it's interesting, for forever now, around our philosophy, we've been talking about how students come through. It seems like students are coming into this philosophy with a greater degree of understanding of the philosophy and its workings. I think the same thing's happening with our pets. Like they ain't dumb dogs anymore.
No.
And every time we get a new pet around this house, it has a greater degree of connection and communication and consciousness.
Yeah.
That it's now part of a family, part of something greater. Now, I'm not going to take total credit that it's all us doing it, but I think we create a pretty good environment around this house. I think internet wise on the virtual world, we're creating a pretty good environment where people can feel like they can come into this and bring who they are, what they do, all the gifts they are, and there's an opportunity to enter into a greater sense of connection, of belonging. And that's something that's precious. And if there's anything I think is that must be protected right now, I think it's our opportunities to come together in those sense of community, in those sense of connection and belonging.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, that's what the visioning process of every year gives us an opportunity to, because it gives us opportunity to do a retrospect and say, what activities or things, what events, what circumstances has created division among the unity, or begin to chip away at the oneness of it all. And how will I vision and participate in that vision for something bigger, something better, something close, something that resembles the unity of the universe? Because you think about it, God a vision for what we see here on this universe, or the creative force of the universe, however you want to describe or name that intelligence, to think, dinosaurs turned in, as the speculation goes, if you will, if you don't buy into it, but dinosaurs are what we now see flying around birds.
Right. Yeah. The hollow wings, the hollow bones of birds are total genetic modifications from prehistoric. And as my eldest was teaching me yesterday or the day before, part of the reason there are so many apparent missing gaps in the dinosaur record is exactly because of this. The hollow bones that allowed for many of the dinosaurs to fly didn't leave a fossil record. They were too fragile. And the immediate impact and the immediacy of the asteroids impact made it so that record is non-existent.
Right.
And there's many theories of what we don't know,
Yeah.
Even in the midst of what we think we know.
Yeah. And my son got me a book for the holidays. It's called Sapiens: A Brief History of Mankind. And I'm really just beginning to get into it, but it shows that through the evolutionary process there was a vision taking place of how things would evolve, how things would connect. And it's quite fascinating when you begin to think of that from a spiritual perspective, and the vision that said we're not in a position, however you want to term it, to start here, or we are, but we would go this way, and to watch it go that way, and to, kind of decipher the different parts of it.
Yeah. Yes. And I want to bring our brother Wayne into the conversation. Yes, Wayne, we do all breathe light. That is such a part of it. And Rev Z and I are going to take a brief 40 seconds away from the mic here to breathe a little light, maybe take a little sip of water, and let you know a little something about a visioning practice and an opportunity for you to join us in visioning all this week. Check this out. That's right, folks. All this week, come vision with us live in a Zoom setting. To get the link, just send a quick email, info@ntmedia.org. Today's Tuesday, and next session, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, just a little over an hour and a half from now. Also 7 p.m. Mountain Time this evening. Wednesday and Thursday, 3 opportunities. You see them there on your screen. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, also 3 opportunities each day, 12 noon, 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Join us for as one or as many or as few of the sessions as you like. No experiences necessary. Again, just send a quick email to ntmedia.info@ntmedia.org. All right, Z, we're back. Thank you for, as always, being here today with us. And those watching out in the wonderful land of Facebook and YouTube, thank you for being with us. We do also want to say a huge thank you to those that make New Thought Media Network possible, and those that share their gifts, their skills, their talents, and their financial contributions with us. New Thought Media Network, it takes a village. And, Z, we're here. We're entering really almost not quite as rapidly, but we're entering into the 3rd year of New Thought Media Network being here. And New Thought Today, it was one of our earlier shows, a chance for you and I to get together. So we've been doing this for a while. This show keeps reinventing itself, it seems.
Yes.
And that's us following the vision.
Yes.
So as we've been talking about, the vision isn't always like, oh, there. It's not like a movie where you could skip to the end and find out the ending if you want. It's not like, I can look up the cheat code and figure out how to get to the end of the video game. We have to go through each step as it happens, the revelation of the journey. And as we're entering our 3rd year here, New Thought Media Network, and about to enter, I think it's our 2nd full year of this program. The intention that's coming through, the vision that's coming through, is to have a lot more guests next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, folks, we would love to hear from you. Who would you like to see us have as a guest on this show? We have an email somewhere around here. It's called ministertalk@ntmedia.org. There it is, ministertalk@ntmedia.org. Send us an email if you know who you'd like to speak with. Z, of all the people on our list, who are you most looking forward to having onto the show next year?
Oh, I'm a couple of people. One would be to bring back Reverend David Alexander would be one, and another would be Reverend Sunshine Day, out in California, out in Long Beach. She's doing some great things out there. Would love to see. I mean, there's so many. I would love to see Reverend Brother Muwata come in and give his. He's out of the Bay Area. So we good things we can do and bring in here, man, with some vast knowledge and different perspectives on how we apply this new thought philosophy in our lives each and every day to cover all aspects.
Yes. I think that's the biggest thing, is how do we make new thought applicable in the world, in our lives? Mm-hmm. What influence does new thought have? How do we activate that influence? How do we activate this philosophy into the various aspects of our lives? And that's a big part of the conversation we want to have in 2022. We really do invite you to join us. Those out there in the listening and the viewing public, please join us. Let your friends know. Join in the conversation. Hit the share button. Hit the like button. Whatever it may be, and join us on the journey.
And you know what? I just thought about it would be good, and we have to work on this to get a minister, or maybe a couple of times a minister from the different coasts, from the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and the West, and see how this philosophy differs in the different environments, because there's subtle differences in terms of how they're presented and the opportunities that are for themselves. So it'd be interesting to see that. I'm just curious.
Yes, I agree. You're sparking all kinds of ideas. See, this is how the vision really does happen, folks. It really does. Somebody, and it's not. So let's be clear, right? It's not just brainstorming. Yes, there's a piece of it, and what you're witnessing right now is what's generally considered brainstorming, and brainstorming has that rule that there's nothing is out of bounds and nothing is wrong and nothing. Well, we know that in this philosophy, when it comes to this ministry, there are certain things that, yeah, are out of bounds. We're not going to go there. It's not going to happen. And that's not what this is about. So even if it pops up, we don't put it on the board.
Right.
But when a good idea sparks another good idea, we can look at that as a reflection or in reflection to what's emerging in the vision.
Yes.
And so the vision becomes less of what I want or what we want or what we think should happen, and becomes much more of a guiding light. It becomes much more of something we can use to determine, well, is this decision aligned with the vision? Would that opportunity, would that program, would that discussion be aligned with the vision we're creating or not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, around here, we've got this vision of a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment. So would anything that embraces and consciously embraces various time zones, various regions of the world, of our country or the planet itself, and embrace those different cultural differences in a shared message, absolutely that would be aligned with the vision of this. And therefore the vision says, yeah, let's do that, Z. Let's figure that out, right? Let's put a little effort behind that. The vision propels us into a yes.
And because when you look at, when we started with that vision of global network of music, entertainment, and now we have a Spanish speaking program that has emerged. We have someone broadcasting from London. And so, next year, the network is going to be moving over to Geneva, Switzerland to cover a conference over there if all things works out. So we are going global, and we are getting that vision firmly established.
Yeah. And we have this vision. We haven't talked about this one very much publicly, but I know I've shared it with you privately. In the very beginning, there's the vision of all day Sundays. And right now, our Sunday broadcasting moves from upstate New York to Atlanta to yourself in Denver. We are broadcasting. We're doing repeat broadcasts from Nashville, Greater Boston, from Ohio. Ocala, Florida is live on Sundays. And we have even a Sunday evening broadcast, a master class with Reverend Charlotte from Washington, D.C. Our broadcasting on Sundays bounces all over the country. We need to bring a few more regions of the world in here. So I think we need to bring a few new countries into the lineup. And the vision of a all-day Sunday broadcast, all day. That's it. We're not quite there yet, but we've been holding that vision for a while. And piece by piece, it reveals to us who the players are to fill those time spots, and how something like that can come about.
Yeah.
And this many wonderful communities all coming together to make something different of Sundays is a pretty wild and magnificent thing. So I'll publicly say thank you to you and CSL Denver for being able to see this vision and being able to say yes to the vision early enough to probably secure one of the best time spots of the whole day, if you ask me. But
I am grateful. I mean, because without it, quite literally, we without a vision of figuring out how we go online when COVID shut us down, I don't know. I mean, it was difficult to do what
Right.
we are able to do, uh, in terms of bringing a service to the community and have it interactive and not just something that's just stock.
Right.
And it's and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
Right.
And I am very much appreciative of the network, and I look forward to our continued growth and continued vision of what we can be and what we are going to be.
Yeah.
And because we have some new programs too coming up, right? That well, we're
Yes.
going to renew some programs that we had from last year and from this year, rather, and we're going to create some new programs, new ways of doing things. The technology keeps getting better because they have a vision of how they want to allow people to present their information. So that vision again is key to
Yeah.
setting the stage and then allowing it to unfold.
Yep. We're not quite there on the big reveal just yet, folks. But we do have a new program coming on. Um, we have a new program. I had them all in my head and now I let them slip. We've got a new program coming on Wednesdays on relationships. Laura Topper and Reverend Kathy Mastriani are getting together from the Science of Mind archives to bring us a new program on the wisdom of the mystics. That's going to happen twice a month. So every other week they're going to do that. The relationship program is going to happen every Wednesday afternoon. And we have a new program. I'm going to try, and I'm scraping to remember what it is. Sorry, the Monday evening, caring for caregivers.
Mm.
And we've got a couple of amazing women that we're going to introduce you to real soon, Norma and Donna. They're also out of the East Coast in the Ocala area, and they're going to share stories and experience and tips and tricks and tactics to care for the caregivers in our lives and how to make sure those that are giving care are not getting burnt out.
Yes.
And are not receiving care and taking time for self-care
Yeah.
as well. So a lot of really, and so not just talking heads like you and me, Z, right?
Yeah.
We got some people doing some real work in the world. They're going to come in and do programs to help all of us approach life from a more active spirituality rather than a theoretical spirituality.
Right. How to take that theory and put it into practice so that it becomes a way of life that we live with and that we exist as we continue to move forward with the grand vision, if you will, of CSL, which is a world that works for everyone, right? I mean, that's one of our visions. We want a world that works for everyone, where no matter where you are on any ladder or that you want to take of, whether it's education, skills, doesn't matter. We want to create a world that no matter, you can work together to create this world where everybody contributes, everybody elevates consciousness, their standard of living, their relationships, everything, and say yes to the prime example of life, which is life itself.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely, Z. Can't say it any better. And we're going to have to, as our mission statement also says at CSL, we're going to have to serve humanity's awakening to its spiritual magnificence. Every one of us is being called to serve those around us in supporting their own awakening, our own awakening, and the awakening of our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, and especially the people we don't like. We have to be willing to support their spiritual awakening as well, because that's what it's going to take.
Right.
And
those two global visions for the organization are great to you got thinking, I'm going to have to look at those and see how I incorporate both of those into my vision for next year. This vision of how do I create an environment or create an example, how do I vision that into existence in my life, so that I'm constantly looking at how do I work to make things better for everyone and to elevate everybody to the highest that they can be, however that shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I know that if you're watching this program, you're one of those folks. You're one of those people that's ready to say yes to this, that you're ready to be a part of something more, something that is here determined to activate and actuate all that we're talking about. And I believe that we're going to do that as and through New Thought Media Network. And part of that is by making sure that we express our gratitude to those that make it happen, our donors, supporters, and those in our financial network that are saying yes and making sure this happens. So please join us for a quick moment as we say thank you to our financial supporters.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all that are making this network possible. If you'd like to become a part of our committed giving program, please head on over to the website, ntmedia.org. Click on the donate button and then choose a monthly donation of any amount. Make sure we know and we'll know that you're here supporting what we're doing and supporting the vision of a global broadcast network that's surrounding the planet with positive music, media, and entertainment. All right, Z, we've about effectively used up just about all of our time today. Before we go, I did want to say I love the print on that shirt you've got on today. Haven't seen that one before, so that's not a green screen, folks. That's the real deal there. Looks very, very good on you. And give you an opportunity to share final thoughts.
Yeah, well, I think as we begin to vision, and as we said earlier, we're in the third day of Kwanzaa. Let's begin to look at a way of living and vision where we have faith and we can work collectively and we understand collective cooperative economics and all of the principles, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, which align very well with CS vision of creating a community and environment that is well run for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. All right, folks, we're out of here for today. This is New Thought Today. We'll be back again next Tuesday with more from New Thought Today. And please join us on Fridays for Ministers Talking Chet. Z and I are together at 7 a.m. Mountain Time right here on the New Thought Media Network, where we spend a quick half hour talking about the news stories of the week and any old things, other things we want to talk about. Until next week, we'll see you then. Peace and blessings. Bye now.
Peace.